Good evening, everyone. The time is now 5:28, and we are broadcasting on all platforms.
It'll be fine. It's a good idea.
Yeah, Mr.
Patel. Sam Patel.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the guy that called.
Yeah, Wilson. Oh,
Joe's son. Joe,
Soldier. Is he the?
he's the one complaining. No, he's complaining. Oh, Gates and them, I think, got it. Gates.
Time is 5:30. I would like to call this November 25th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting to order. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Before we get started tonight, I would like to ask for a moment of silence. I just found my predecessor in Ward 8, Irv Smith, who served on this council for 20 years, 20-plus years, just passed. Alderman Carlson, you knew if you'd like to say a few words, too.
Yeah, I just, thank you, Chair. Irv Smith was, to me, a giant here in Sangamon County. Passed away yesterday at 96 years old. To me, a true public servant, in elective office for 50 years, county board, regional superintendent of schools, a short stint as a state rep, and then most of us know up here, he came in 1987 under the consent decree, was one of the first aldermen, and served in Ward 8.
Ward 8 for a very long time.
For 20 years. So thank you for acknowledging that. I think, Chuck, you might want to say a few words on Irv's behalf as well.
Well, yeah, he and Frank McNeil and I were on the first city council in 1987, all three of us served for 20 years together. It was trying times like we have trying times now. It was trying times back then, but he was a great public servant, and he's going to be missed.
Certainly our thoughts go out to his family. So please join me in a moment of silence for Alderman Smith. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to the meeting, we do have a presentation tonight.
Roll call.
Oh, sorry, let's do roll call. That's a good idea. I'm ready to get going.
Alderman Cox. Alderman Gregory.
Here.
Alderman Williams.
Here.
Alderman Rockford.
Here.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Here.
Alderwoman Netriano.
Here.
Alderman Carlson.
Here.
Alderwoman Conley.
Present.
Alderman Donlin.
Here.
Alderman Hanauer. Madam Chairman, you have quorum.
Thank you very much. I'd accept a motion for the approval of the November 12th, 2025 committee meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Alderman Gregory?
Yes, I was just going to recognize, I know our council coordinator had a death in his family. I didn't want to interrupt our condolences to the Smith family, but I think that it's important that we do recognize him as well, and what he's going through. And we wish you the best and your family the best, and come on back stronger than ever. So if we can have a moment of silence for council coordinator Tim Griffin.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alderman.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Our thoughts are with him right now in this time. Thank you very much. As I had mentioned previously, we do have one brief presentation tonight from the Office of Planning and Economic Development.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jared McCormick. For those who I haven't met, I'm a grants coordinator for the Office of Planning and Economic Development. I'm here tonight to give a brief update about the Recompete program. So a little bit of background about Recompete. So Recompete was a Biden-Harris initiative, a federal grant administered by the Economic Development Administration. So the objective was to invest in economically distressed communities and to create good jobs, connect people to those jobs. So there were two tracks to this grant, one being the strategy development track and one being the implementation track. The city of Springfield was awarded the strategy development track for our Springfield Economic Empowerment Project, or SEEP, proposal in late 2023, and the grant ending in January 30th, 2026. Recently, we've been able to send a submission for extension into EDA to get us through January 2027. So the purpose of this track is to provide cities with the resources to be able to gather workforce data. However, as of November, there's been no new announcements for any further rounds of funding. Some initial activities. We hired a recompete coordinator. We gathered community agency stakeholders, discussed the planning project, included data gathering and resource information sharing. We contracted with a consulting firm to help provide an analysis of workforce demographics, challenges, and policies. Recently we submitted a request for a scope revision that included funding the cost of catering for the Build event hosted in October. And it also supported the initial funding for new community care coordinator positions with the Community Relations Department. And then in addition, costs for the 2026 Minority Business Institute by the Community Relations Department. So here's some examples of how we've continued to utilize this grant. For the Build Springfield event, it helped enable partnership building with community organizations, provided residents with the opportunity to connect with city agencies, then also utilized catering services from local small business. The community care coordinators, these are boots on the ground case management support for economically distressed neighborhoods, and they provide additional data collection through our continuum of care system. So 2026 is the grant closeout. So during this year, we plan on doing the Minority Business Institute to help build economic growth and workforce development. And it'll include technical assistance, coaching assistance for zoning, permits, grant applications, subcontracting, et cetera. Then also just providing networking and job opportunities for members of disadvantaged communities. And so we have and will continue to use the data that we gather from this, and I believe it will be very useful for further grant applications and strengthening our case for funding.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions, Alderman Gregory?
I'll defer to Alderwoman Purchase and then
Alderwoman Purchase?
So from the recompete grant, can we distribute to our my colleagues like their zones, like the recompete zones? Has that been pushed out? I know I had asked Director Amy for information a few months ago to say, can we share with my colleagues how this program works? I know that there was zones. Do everybody know what the zones are? You guys know? Is there a way that we could share that information too, so that they can be familiar with more detail of the recompete?
Mm-hmm.
And then, what's some of the major takeaways that you all seen coming from this, from the studies that you did?
The studies are not concluded until the end of the grant period, but we think it will provide some good information about workforce demographics. Some are the common issues facing that prime age employment gap between 25 and 54.
Yes.
So those are forthcoming, but we will have those by the end of the grant term, as well as the project wrap up that we submit to EDA.
Okay, and then I had took a few notes on the presentation slides. And one of the slides I had too, although the federal funds have changed, and are there any other funding opportunities that Springfield could pursue to help improve opportunities for minority business development in those recompete zones?
So I'm always trying to keep abreast of new grant opportunities that come out. I could definitely narrow that focus down for that and look further into that specifically.
And let us know how we can help you as far as getting the word out in the community too as well. I don't think a lot of people know about this. It was when I looked around the first time I asked for a follow-up and what was going on, and some of my colleagues said, well, what are you talking about? So I think we need to share that information too.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Any other questions? You good? Alderman Gregory?
Yes, thank you. Real quickly from the slides, is there any, so that original grant was 453 Illinois Times hat?
Yep.
And are there any unspent funds on that?
There is, which is why we did the scope revision to include those community care coordinators after our recompete coordinator left for another opportunity. And then in addition, the build event, food, as well as the Minority Business Development Institute.
Thank you. How much is unspent?
So right now, 294 is unspent. But like I said, most of that will be going to cover those salaries for those community care coordinators and that Minority Business Institute.
Okay, so that takes me to one of my further questions. So with the community care coordinators, so after this grant goes, how do we pay for them?
I am going to defer that
It's all right.
to
I'll go
Director
on.
Posey.
I'm sure they'll get that to me, and I'll follow up with them. But I'll move on. So this E.B. Howard Consultant, is this a local consultant?
No, they are not.
They're out of
They're out of New York.
New York. So riddle me this: we had a consultant, and she left. Why didn't we keep her? Especially with her helping us prepare all of this, the familiarity.
yeah.
This is, for everybody to know, this is a competitive grant. It's not a guarantee. The next
Right.
step is implementation.
Right.
I know Dr. Kira was educating us on, some cities have got close to us that are in our region, $20 million, and the top is $50 million. But we got to have a strong application. It's a competitive
Right.
one. They're only going to give out how many grants throughout the country.
Yeah, and so, like I said, there were two tracks for that. We were awarded the planning grant, which, as designed, was to prepare for an implementation grant. However, with the changing of the political tides, the new administration, we haven't received any new announcements about further funding. So the original plan was to, hopefully win that implementation grant, but we haven't seen anything come through yet.
So do we feel like, well, let me ask some of my other question on the slides going. So I have in my notes why a new coordinator, but I think you've answered some of that. I wish we would have kept Dr. Kira because she had familiarity with this, and the new person have to come in and sort of catch up on this, and I think that just weakens our chances at implementation. I think to help our application with this, our build program or whatever we want to call it, has to be more than just going out, giving out the same information that we always give out and just eating. It has to be some cleanup. We used to clean up in the area, attack those areas, but I'll move on. Our Minority Business Institute, is there any stats as far as how many minority businesses we look to help?
I'm going to defer to Director Posey to provide the specifics of that program.
Okay.
Because I don't want to misspeak for him. So.
Okay. So
Sorry, Alderman, I will add, Director Posey
He right
is
there
here if
waiting.
you'd like to direct those questions to him.
Sure. So,
Director Posey, if you want to come on up and if you can address some of the issues for Alderman Gregory.
So on the purpose of sustainability for our community care coordinators, we did budget for those positions going into last fiscal year and have re-budgeted for them this fiscal year. So those coordinators are sustainable. They are our community outreach team, which we have used to build out. So the recompete grants have helped us cover the salary cost of them for this year until January 1, but those were already budgeted for and approved by City Council. So they're sustainable, they're not going anywhere. They did not raise the head count of our agency at all.
Okay.
So those were already taken care of. We want to make sure that when we're doing something for the community, it is going to be sustainable. It is always beneficial when grant money does become available that we can use in order to make the lift a little bit easier. As you guys know, we have arguably the smallest staff out of all the agencies that we have, and our budget is not huge, but we try to do as much as we can with what we have. So it's always helpful when OPED reaches out or the SPD reaches out and says, hey, we have some grant funds here, and we think that we could use that toward the programs that you're putting forward. As far as the Minority Business Institute, this grant will allow us to get some things for the participants that we wouldn't elsewise be able to do. It will help us pay for their certificates at the end, the banquet at the end, so that way people can eat, so that way the program is as top-notch as it can be. And those are now no longer things that we have to budget for going into this particular budget season to cover in our actual budget for community relations. So we plan for things to be sustainable, but then when there are opportunities where grant money comes and we don't have to spend taxpayer money in order to do something good for the people, we like to be able to utilize those things.
Sure. Okay, fine. Thank you. I appreciate you on that. So my final question just on this workforce piece is, have we connected and built a pipeline with our unions, with job sectors? As again, you know, this chance at the implementation is based on a strong application, right? And all of those things have to be mapped out in partnerships with people who are going to guarantee some jobs from this. We can go through the program, and I can tell you this conversation that I'm saying right now. I say to everybody I talk to that our grants are funding. It has to do more. It's got to. Because the calls I get, oh man, I went through the program, man, I ain't worked, I ain't swung a hammer. It's got to be more than that. They got to go to work.
Absolutely, no, absolutely, I agree. And that's why every plan and program that I've put together is based to run and operate and be sustainable without grant funding. As you guys know, my wife is in nonprofit, and I understand you cannot apply for grants and in the application for grants have what you can do be dependent on you getting that grant money. You have to be able to have a program that's sustainable and put together without it, and then say, here's what we've been able to do without the grant money here. Here's what we can project that we can do additionally with the grant money as well. So the programs that we design are designed to be sustainable based on what we have, the staff members we have, and then also the participation of the community partners and organizations that we have.
Do we have any guaranteed jobs, though, from anybody?
No, we do not.
That's going to be important for that class.
Absolutely.
And some procurement guarantees, some things when we go through this program, we're putting all these programs together so people can contract with the city and government and build their businesses.
Yes. So we're having a planning meeting in the beginning of December with all of our community stakeholders to finalize the dates that we'll have for the Minority Business Institute. Also, we're working with the Chamber of Commerce to put together a small business symposium, which will be another event that will be a one-day event to bring more people and more employers there with the opportunities for jobs to be had that are there for more people other than just the minority business owners that we have. Because although I want to do what I can to contribute in any way to helping our minority businesses grow, when we have the opportunity for jobs as well, we also don't want any small business owners to be left out. So I also wanted to create another event that was inclusive of all small business owners to be able to have that opportunity. But based on the things that we've heard and the needs we have in the community, there are some trainings and some understandings at a base level that a lot of our small business owners have that our minority small business owners do not. So in order to make those opportunities more equitable, the class and the training opportunities are being given first to the minority business owners to make sure that there is truly a base level understanding and a seat at the table when you want to get things started. And then those job opportunities, when we have the small business symposium and they're offered to everyone, now it doesn't feel like there's small businesses that have a leg up and a better understanding, especially with those who have participated in our program. And I feel like that is one way that we truly invest in our minority businesses in the community, is to say, we want to make sure that you have the education and the knowledge and the understanding to be at the table at the same level. It's very disheartening to be in a room and trying very hard to do something, and you feel like people are talking over your head for lack of a better way to say it. And so we're trying to create an opportunity where people don't have to feel like you're in a room and people should assume that you should know what to do in all of these situations, and people are talking over your head, and it feels embarrassing to come and say, yes, I'm a business owner, yes, I'm doing the best that I can, but I feel like if I ask these questions, you'll think lesser of me.
Yes.
Well, we want to make sure that no one thinks lesser of you, and you know how to grow and where to get the answers from.
No, I totally understand. I'm just throwing that out there. I think that I've seen this in other cities. In fact, the recompete grant that did get the $20 million, they had a pipeline, they had jobs, they had employers that said, hey, you go through this program, we got 20 jobs here, the unions got 20 jobs, and we're going to funnel you into some good things. On the procurement process, the cities have set aside for those who graduate these programs to say, hey, you're going right into our grass cutting, you're going right into our boarding, here's some business for you that we need. And then the ultimate thing that we have to figure out from a city with this grant and other grants is how do we have our own small workforce that can go carry out some of our projects. Because right now, that's the main problem. We can have $50 million, but there's no one to do the work. No one wants to do these smaller $25,000, $50,000 projects, but those who we're going to train up to do them. The big
Absolutely. Companies
don't want them. So that's going to be so very, very important with us. And I think with us working with our union team members and all of that to really bring forth a real solid plan, because, Trump might not cancel it. He might forget about it and forget it's there and let it go. And we don't want to be weak on the implementation. All right. Thank you. That's my comments for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just clarify one question.
Sure.
So there's just a little bit of clarification, and Jared
Ethan,
did,
don't go nowhere.
as he answered, as Jared answered, the consultants, E.B. Howard, that were referred to, are out of New York. They were contracted and vetted by Dr. Kiara Rogers. That was part of the initial implementation of the grant. The scope of work was that we hire a consultant firm to take that local data and utilize that. She vetted those and determined that was the best hire. Her salary, she chose to take a state position. Her salary is what we were then saying, well, we don't want to leave this money on the table, and we were able to look internally, and that's how we came up to looking at the salaries for the community care coordinators, putting them right back out in the field as Dr. Kira was, out in the neighborhoods where our consultant was taking the data and doing those statistical work. So I just wanted to clarify that a little bit, that's where that consultant came from, and that's how they were hired. And Dr. Kira herself, in her field of expertise and her knowledge base, was the one that hired and contracted with them.
Do you know what company she vetted locally?
Yeah, she did work with a group out of UIS. She was formerly on the UIS faculty, and actually I don't want to say she's not. She was a professor there. So they found that their capacity at the time, while they met with us and talked about what they could do, their capacity with some changes in deans, some changes in funding with the university, they said that after they had talked with us, they didn't submit a formal proposal at the time. We did have another group, and I'm sorry that name escapes me.
No, it's fine.
They had a local entity. They were a consulting firm that had numerous locations. They did have an entity here in Springfield. They were in the vetting process, but UIS, we did go to them, and they just did not have the capacity to do it at that time.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. I appreciate
I just
it.
wanted to clarify that a little bit. That was before Jared came on board, but I wanted to clarify where that came in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Thank you, Director. Alderman, were those your questions?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alderman Williams.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is the grant where we had to get an extension?
We did put in an extension to cover that Minority Business Institute for 2026.
Do you know, when was that approved?
It has not been approved yet, but my educated guess is that it will be. As I've spoken to our EDA contacts, and they're very clear that we have an option to extend.
And
They were out for the federal shutdown.
Yeah, they were out for
Okay,
federal
okay.
shutdown and are working through a backlog.
so what kind of date or when we ask
It would
them?
be, the original was January 30th, 25, or 26 closeout, and the extension would be through January 30th, 27, so 1 year.
Okay. Thank you for now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Chair. Mine's is for Ethan. Director Posey, I
Director,
mean.
come on back up, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't want my colleagues to laugh at me, but Ethan, you just said a lot that's important. We need some follow-up once you go through this process. We need some reporting on how it's going, because sometimes it's a lot to digest when you just said all of that. And we want to help you and help with the minority businesses, especially for me as women businesses, and it's already tough for us as women. So I want to try to get some reporting done, not just when the budget comes up, or we have a presentation just like this where you come up and you give us everything that you've been doing, which is a good job, and where you're going next, but how do we find these things out? How do we help you to get this information out to the community and get them to call into your office? I think that we should do it now. As you know, I was at IDOT and Small Business Enterprises. We had a pipeline when they went through their programs, the HCCTP program, the Highway Construction Careers Training Program. It was designed and built for that pipeline. I would hope that we can do something just like that, and I want to be an asset to you to be able to help, but you got to give us, some information when you're going through that.
Absolutely, and I think the plan was to put this together as a pilot program based on what our minority business owners and our minority nonprofit organizers were expressing that they were barriers they were running into in trying to work with the city, and then also bring them to other different programs and resources that we have, to then sit and look at the data from that, while as we're giving those participants information, we're also trying to get as much information as we can about how we can make it better. And then after collecting that data, say, okay, for all these people who have participated in this program, how do we now move and put something else in place where there's a tangible, practical outcome that benefits them from being in the program. But in order to decipher what's the best way to put something together to benefit them after they go through the program, we have to collect the data in the program. So I absolutely agree that recording and giving data based on what we're seeing is absolutely important, absolutely vital, and something that we're going to do. But it's going to be collecting as much data as we can, and then trying to figure out in a presentation, okay, what were the things that were most relevant to them? What made you feel like, what did you learn in the program that you didn't know before? What could you have benefited from more moving forward?
And that's the part right there, not harping on us doing all this food with some of this money, but making sure we use those dollars to actually help them. Like you just said, some black businesses feel like they can't ask certain questions because they will be thought of less than. That's where we need to put the money at, to make sure that we're giving them the correct training and giving them that space in a room where they feel safe and comfortable to be able to have that with you, that dialogue. And maybe some of those funds need to be put in something, like I said, a workshop of now what, when you're getting through it and you have to go and present yourself to a company,
right,
and you want to get a job. And my last question before I forget, I heard you say, I just want to clarify, you said you have money in the budget for the sustainability, right?
Yes.
So did you say you had it originally for your care coordinators?
Yes,
or it started from their grant?
No,
and then
they were already budgeted for. I told everyone after the outcry of Fifth and North Grand that we were going to expand our outreach team. And we had cut down positions in years prior that were in our office that we replaced with community care coordinator positions, so it wouldn't raise our budget, so it wouldn't raise our head count.
So where's that money then, if you had it in the budget already? And if I'm hearing correctly, OPID put money in the budget to have those care coordinators too. Am I hearing that it was like double monies, or?
That would probably be a better question for
Ms. Ramona?
OBM.
Sorry.
We haven't
I'm just making sure I
repurposed any of
heard
our
him
salary.
correctly.
I'm gonna have to look at that.
Okay. Can we double check on that, Ms. Ramona? Because I just want to know if we had money set aside for them, but now we're using the monies from the OPID office. What are we doing with that first allocation? Can we use that somewhere else? So when you get that, Ms. Ramona, can you let us all know? That was my final question. Because, I'm trying to shake the couches right now.
I understand.
And get any dimes and nickels that we can get.
I absolutely understand.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alderwoman. Do we have any other questions for either one of our speakers? Seeing none, thank you both very much for your presentation, and Director Posey for your detailed follow-up. Appreciate that. Okay, Clerk, now we have ordinances tabled or remaining committee. Clerk, could you please read the one ordinance we have here?
2025-281.
Do we have any movement on this ordinance? Seeing none, we'll move on to ordinances for committee consideration.
CWLP 2025-484, an ordinance authorizing payment to Dell Marketing LP for Microsoft software assurance maintenance in the amount not to exceed $77,468.13 for the Office of Public Utilities.
Motion for consent.
Second.
Motion and a second for consent. Any discussion? Alderman Williams?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. Want to make sure I didn't miss you. Seeing no other discussion then, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-485, an ordinance approving professional services agreement with Tally and Associates in the amount not to exceed $120,000 for the assistance and regulatory issues for the Office of Public Utilities.
Motion for debate?
Second.
Motion for, and a second for debate. Any discussion, Alderwoman?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Is anyone from CWLP available to answer questions about this contract? Yes, thank you. So my concerns as I was reading through this, and I guess our other lobbyist for the state side isn't doing this person any favors, because she gives us very detailed explanations of the work she does and measurable goals and things like that. And I just didn't see that here. So I have a couple of questions for you. Maybe you can help me understand. So when the person says they secured support from our congressional delegation, can we point to like a specific vote, or what did that look like?
I would say it's more of the things that we look for from this individual is understanding the federal agencies that exist in DC, like the Small Business Administration, I think it's the Environmental Council, and then the US EPA, some of the head people there on certain issues, because there's a lot of times that as they develop these, types of rules that impact the utility, you can see that there's certain things that they do that, for example, like the ELG rule was more specifically where it uniquely impacted us differently than every other utility, right? And in fact, so much that, from at least, from our analysis, was actually more environmentally damaging, with the outcome of what they're wanting to do.
Can I interrupt you really quick? Because
Sure.
That's a really good point. We hired attorneys on that issue, right?
No, well, we have attorneys for that. That's a similar type of issue, but it's a different route than what was taken with trying to talk to the agencies and resolve it outside of that.
I see.
And that's been through the years as well. We've used him for quite a few years, even prior to my. It's been over 10. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And then, as far as, getting with the staff of, maybe like of Senator Dick Durbin, with the technical staff that's in DC, there's things like that we might need to talk to voice our, favor or opposition to something, to find out, like, this is what the impacts are for what you're looking at, then that hasn't been as much lately, but I know that's happened well in the past.
Okay. And then, so in terms of those priorities, favoring or opposing certain rules or legislation, who sets those priorities for the utility?
Basically, it's the discretion of, the mayor at the time, and the person in charge of the utility. That's where that's at.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And So can you give me an example of a policy position that you have in mind with this contract? Like, what are your plans? What are his marching orders should he get this contract?
Well, it's basically, having him on retainer for us to use, because we don't know what's coming down the pike, per se. So we don't know what other issues are going to arise. It's about having relationships with the individual, to know that he's there when we need him. At a more of a moment's notice, depending upon what's going on.
Okay. That's good for him for getting that rate as a retainer, yep. Okay, all right, I believe that is it for my questions on that. I just wanted to make sure that, we had a purpose and that the purpose with this contract is something that aligns with our long-term plans for the utility and the state of Illinois' long-term plans for coal. And just that we're all aware, I understand the mayor and yourself have great latitude when it comes to what the agency does. But I think it's important that the people's representatives also get a say and get to hear about what this individual is lobbying for. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Alderwoman.
Thanks.
Yes, Alderman Williams?
Yeah,
Sorry.
thank you, Chair. Directors, my concern, and I just want to make sure that this individual and this particular piece of ordinance isn't going to impact the management of our ash ponds.
No. I mean, I think that's, we're pretty far along with that, and, we've made it pretty clear on how we want to handle that, as far as closing the ash ponds, and we intend to stick with that. We can't force, the Illinois EPA and the US EPA to finalize the Illinois plans. Once they do that, then when they finally come to that, to where the US EPA would approve the Illinois plan, then the Illinois EPA could issue us the construction permits to proceed with closing the ash ponds. So that doesn't really impact that at all.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Alderman. Any other questions for Doug? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second for debate. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-486 is an ordinance accepting bids and authorizing contract UW 26-09-34, contract work for shoreline stabilization riprap installation with G&H Marine in the amount not to exceed $210,000 for the Office of Public Utilities.
Move for consent.
Motion and a second for consent. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-487 is an ordinance accepting proposal number UE 26-13 with Consumer Adjustment Company, Inc. for the CWLP collection services for the past due utility accounts in the amount not to exceed $390,000 for the Office of Public Utilities.
Do I have a motion?
Move for consent. Second.
Motion and a second for consent. Is there any discussion? Alderman Gregory?
I just got a real quick general question. Doug, is this is for people who bills are in collections or being sent to collections? Or is this like for, my bill was due on the 11th, I think I need to pay
Yeah,
mine.
sent to collections,
All
yes.
right.
Yeah, it's a collection agency that does this for us, yeah.
All right. I'm just asking. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I think it's Procom was the last, or the existing firm.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. I gotta pay my bill while I'm talking. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Seeing none, the motion is for consent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Public Works, 2025-488, an ordinance accepting bids and authorizing execution of a contract number PW 260831 with Green Track LLC to furnish abate and demolition for the authorizing a supplemental appropriation amount not to exceed $977,857.28 for the Office of Public Works.
Motion for debate.
We have a speaker.
Motion and a second for debate. Alderman Gregory?
Yes, real quickly. So I put this on debate for two reasons. One, I think me and definitely Alderman Williams need to review the houses. I got one on Dave. Dave ain't here. Dave. He ain't hot. He ain't here. I got a couple. I got one on South Grand, and we got one in the boxes, like I like to call it. and they've been sitting forever. The one on South Grand is about to fall down. I don't see it on the list. I'm gonna go by there and get the exact address. And then we have another one, it's blue. It's in what we call the box, from Cook to South Grand. And it's blue. It has all types of obscenities written over it. It's been vacant forever. It's about time for that one to go. I mean, it's open to trespass, garage is back down, and I don't see that one on the list. So I just want to
Got a
review 'em.
couple on South Grand. Could it be
I looked them up.
2005?
I looked it up. It doesn't look like the house I'm referring to.
Have you got the addresses?
I don't, I'm gonna go by tonight on my way home, and I'm gonna look at those two addresses and send them to you, just for us to review and
Sure.
hopefully we can
Just send
squeeze
them
them
to
in.
me, please.
My second question is, the gentleman stopped me last week, the mayor, spoke to me on this. So this bid is, it didn't go to the lowest bidder, but it appears it went to the lowest responsible bidder. Now, I know that, local and minority hiring is big on this, and when I talked to this gentleman here, he's definitely lower than Green Track, but I am aware that he didn't have any minorities on his last job that he did for the city. He explained to me that, hey, he's a union contractor. He's provided us paperwork of each union that he's in good standing with, and when he comes to Springfield, he has to pull from those unions, and he's just not getting sent those, minorities or people of color to work. He's asking for them, but he's not. How do we deal with that?
Well, as you know, this contract is for abatement and demolition of 40 court-ordered structures. Some are houses, some are garages, some
Yes.
are commercial spaces. Now, Green Track has been with us on a number of occasions, and they are demonstrating a very good commitment to our minority and female recruiting and employment on these jobs.
What was their numbers? Do you have some numbers for them, like on the last project, for example?
On the last project, just a second. Let's see, on the Salvation Army building, they had that contract, my 10% for minority subcontractors and 48.51% for female contractors.
Local.
Poplar Place demolitions, it was 11% minority. We didn't have any female subcontractors there. And the abatement for the rail project was 10% minority contractors and 20% female.
What's the local percentage on those?
For the Salvation Army, it's 13.05%.
13.05 local. Is that what you said?
Yes.
And we're supposed to have 50%?
I'm sorry.
And our goal is 50%, and they was only at 13%? Okay, continue.
I have. Poplar Place, it was 28.7.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank
Any
you.
more questions, Alderman Gregory?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Alderwoman Otriano.
Thank you, Chair. So in reading here, I guess I'm asking a little bit about the selection process and determining who's responsive. So did you confirm, like, do they have subcontracts with the minority-owned firms or the female-owned firms for this work?
Ma'am,
Or-
if you wanted to get into the very particulars of the bids, I would have to defer to the purchasing folks.
Okay, okay. So that's not something that we typically do? Or-
They have to, well, as they begin the job, they have to make a report on a regular basis.
Okay, so it's more about the workforce than
Yes, ma'am.
the subcontractors? Okay. Okay, and so, yeah, I guess my question is, if it's a good faith effort, that's a little bit different than saying, I'm going to meet these goals. Like, I guess the way it's worded, it's unclear to me why this good faith effort won out over another good faith effort, or perhaps the effort was not made in the lower, like, how do we know that this firm is going to meet the goals if they haven't told us, well, like, we've got 10 women who are going to work on the project. We've got, 12 minorities who are going to work on the project. Do you see what I'm saying?
I understand. The data we collect is as the job progresses. They have to file labor reports on a regular basis.
Okay, but, I mean, it is not unheard of to ask them to project these things for us, as opposed to making an effort, which I'm not even sure what that entails in this case. So that is my question. Like, how can we judge one firm from the other if we're not asking them to provide us, like, what's your projected in on this project as it pertains to minorities and what have you? Like, using their past performance is great, but I don't know how, there's a big price differential. And so, yeah, past performance is good, but I don't know that it's, hundreds of thousands of dollars better.
That's what we rely on, is the labor reporting, the regular reporting.
Okay.
That's how we keep track of it.
Okay.
Of course, when the contract is bid out, the expectation is in the contract.
Okay. Okay.
And as you know, on a lot of these projects, employees, laborers, contractors come and go.
Sure.
Some are
sure,
available, some aren't available.
Sure, definitely.
Timing has a lot to do with it.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, that might be something that we want to look at in terms of, like, really shoring up our minority and female-owned business program, utilization program. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So I just kind of want to follow up on all the Alderwoman's questions. In our summary of this contract, both Green Track and their subcontractor are female-owned businesses. Does that come into play?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so the fact that these are two female-owned businesses was part of that determination of the minority, towards the minority
Yes, ma'am.
considerations? Okay, thank you very much. And Alderwoman Notre, I don't know if you have any follow-up to that, or?
Yeah, I mean,
I know you were done with your questions, I just, I kind of
no,
wanted to.
thank you. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. I guess, yeah, I don't know what the criteria is. We didn't get a copy of the low bid, so, like, I don't know if they were going to hire a female-owned.
Yeah, and so I guess, yeah, so kind of that was my question. Maybe, can I ask, were the other companies female-owned businesses also, or was this our female-owned business that bid on the contract?
Schaefer is female-owned.
And was this the only one that was female-owned that bid on the contract? Do you remember?
Well, off the top of my head, I know that Green Track and Schaefer will be it.
Okay.
Okay, so we're awarding the second low, and they're female-owned. Okay. But, like, we have no idea what the potential participation was from the low bidder, who is considerably lower. And I think that's where my confusion comes from.
If you'd like to go through the bid process, we could.
No,
be glad to
no,
sit
it's
down
not
with you.
that. It's really more a matter of when someone brings us a contract to sign, and there is a hundreds of thousands of dollar discrepancy, excuse me, it would behoove the people asking for the contract to explain to us exactly why the low bidder was disqualified, and we went for the second low bidder. That's all I'm asking for.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Alderman Williams.
Yes, most of my questions was answered, but Director, that's a $300,000 difference.
Yes, sir.
And I just think that's an awful large amount and a large difference. They both females, and I just don't know why we didn't go with the lowest bid and save the money.
The track record that we have with Green Track shows their commitment to our minority and female labor in
And
subcontract.
where's the good faith effort? I mean, what do they turn into you? What are they giving you? to
They
show-
have to report on a regular basis who is working for them and how many.
But at bidding time,
At
you're
bidding-
you're going off of since they've always done it, so to always be Green Track?
They make a commitment to our goals. They make a commitment to our
And Schaefer
policy.
didn't?
No, she's a subcontractor.
Well, okay, I guess. Well,
They don't project it, sir.
thank you. I just think we should do something different.
Any other questions, Alderman Williams?
I'm finished.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Carlson.
Oh, thanks, Chair. And I'm working through my mind and to clear it up. To me, it's not always a forward process. I mean, we have to look at the track records back of what, in this particular case, these two companies. And I think by your numbers and some of the numbers, I'm on the contract committee, unfortunately, the company in question, Schaefer, if we look at their last big project, it's my understanding, yeah, they might be female-owned, but they had no minority participation on the job. And moreover, Alderman Gregory, you had mentioned minority, but they had no local participation in the job either. That's the whole thing. I mean, so it's tough to put a price tag on that when we as a city, based on, this council and previous councils, we have certain goals that we're trying to reach to do the right thing. And so all we have is a track record. I don't know if we can necessarily look forward what they're going to do in the job, because as you know, we get this data once a month on that. And so I think in this particular case, that's what it was. I mean, Green Track, covered all the bases as far as what we're looking for in previous jobs.
Yes, sir.
So, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Gregory.
Yes, real quick. So those numbers that you gave me on the local percentage was for Green Track, am I correct?
Yes.
So, I mean, the Salvation Army was 13% and the Popular Place was only 28%. So they're an out-of-town company as well. They both use a female subcontractor, it seems like, for the abatement process. They're both owned by females.
Yes, sir.
So they're on equal footing. So if I start, I get the logic of the track record, but if we're trying to get minority businesses. So if they start a company, they'll never get some of the work, because Green Track's been working, or Schaefer or whoever has been working, and we're always gonna say, well, they did a good job. Well, they might have had a 10% minority participation on both, about 10%. But I dare ask, of that 10%, how many of them are local? So it does us no good to have out-of-town companies come in, have some minorities, but they don't live here. That's just, it's a wash to me, and that costs $300,000 more. I don't know. We just got to do better at this. Is money that's leaving our city that could be in our city, in a city that is one of the highest ranked cities as far as income disparity. And these things don't help us. So thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not blaming you or anything. It's just a process that we got to get better at. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Rockford.
Thank you, Chair. So Dave, when these companies come in and we say they're hiring 10% minority and 25% women or whatever, are they local people? Or do they bring these people from other cities to come and work in the city of Springfield, or are they hiring local labor?
It really depends on the project, how long it's going to take. They make a commitment, and then once they're on the ground and they're putting the operation together, they solicit locals. Absolutely. They do bring some of their own people with them. But
And maybe I'm asking the wrong person, but how's the pool? How's the pool of people to choose from? Do we have, I guess, laborers or who, what I mean?
I couldn't speak to that.
Okay. I mean, we're kind of talking about minorities and women and stuff, but are they coming from other cities and coming here to work? And then, another company comes in. You're just talking, there's a big disparity here, $303,000.
Yes, sir.
And, 10% to 8% or whatever we're it's just, it's a big savings. I don't understand the bidding process, but thank you.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Alderwoman Altriano?
Yep, gonna take another bite at this. So Alderman Rockford, to your question, we have seen the laborers local 447, or is it 477? In this room, and we have seen how diverse that workforce is. So I do not understand how they could not project, any of these companies could not project in working with that union and other local unions, how many women they could get on the job, how many minorities they could get on the job, so on and so forth. I think we need to ask this of them.
Yeah, so again, I know there's a lot of construction going on in the city. There's a ton, and I know there's been shortages of different crafts. So, you know, yes, I know they come in here with 100 different folks, but all I'm saying is that, that's why I'm asking the pool, are the people there? Do we have to draw? We had to draw electricians and plumbers and stuff from different cities because we had so much going on. You know, we didn't have enough bodies. So again, that's my question. Do we have the people to hire? That's my question. So.
And I would expect that we do.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I think kind of this conversation kind of highlights the need for the analysis and the data that we talked about with the recompete grant earlier, where give us more facts and more of a review of what our existing pool is, what are the opportunities. I mean, I think we're highlighting that there are opportunities, at least in some fields, for new growth in our local firm. So thank you, Director, for your answers to these questions. Does anyone have anything else at this time? Seeing none, the motion is for debate. All those in favor? I'm sorry. Sorry. No, Director, you can sit down. I apologize. Clerk, thank you. We do have someone who signed up to speak on
Sam
this.
Schaefer.
Thank you. Thank you for keeping me on that one too, Clerk.
No worries.
Sam Schaefer, Schaefer Excavating and Demolition.
Pull your mic down, Ms. Schaefer. Thank you.
Last year, we had a similar package we did for the city. It was a great outcome. The city loved working with us, the inspectors, and we loved working with them. There was no delays. The job went quickly. It went good. Towards the end of the job, there was an extra couple of houses that came. The city asked us to bid on them. We bid on them. We did those for them. The job went just as smooth as could be. We had a small punch list. We had some cracked sidewalks and stuff from the heavy equipment. We fixed those. We turned our bill in. We were paid. It went it couldn't have went any better. We loved working with the city. We figured we had a great relationship with the city. This year we were low bidder again, and now there's a bunch of stuff come up, and I believe it's all based on wrong information. Last week I was here. They said that we had no minority participation. We have the exact same asbestos minority contractor, female-owned, that the other company has. But yet they said they had it and we didn't. They said we were non-union. We have documentation with us tonight that we are good with all the unions. So that was wrong. There's a lot of wrong information. Let's see here. There was supposed to be a recommendation for somebody else. And I think that recommendation would have been on wrong information. And I didn't say that we are female-owned business too. And we do plan on, and I talked to the unions today. They said they have minority people that we can use that are local people, and we are planning on using. This is a big job. We need the extra help. I think we've met all the qualifications that's needed. And I want to say that they wanted to give a recommendation, And it's easy to do that sometimes, but as long as I've been alive, the bottom line means a lot. How much does a house cost? How much does a car cost? Gasoline cost, groceries cost? How much is, see, if you say, yeah, I want to give a recommendation, but you've got to say, I want to give a recommendation for this man, and it's going to cost you an extra $303,000. See, that's when it means something. Taxpayers' hard-earned money. When I was here last week, there was women talking about delinquent areas, abandoned buildings, their kids not feeling safe. This money can go towards more demolition, cleaning up more areas, this is hard-earned taxpayers' money. The times we live in right now, it should be used to the best of your ability. I ask that because the recommendation was done on wrong information, that there should have never been a recommendation. That Schaefer Excavating does get it because they did a great job last year. And they have an asbestos company that is female-owned, minority, and my wife owns our company, female-owned, and we will be getting local people here from the Union Hall. I know I'm repeating myself, but sometimes you need to say things a few times before it sinks in. But I appreciate you listening to me, and I'm hoping that you're going to save some taxpayers' dollars for better things.
Mr. Schaefer, please don't step away. We do have some people who signed up to ask you some questions. I would just like to ask you, first of all, do you do the reporting through the city system on your minority and female participation on jobs?
My secretary,
Company does this.
I'm a heavy equipment operator,
Right.
and my office handles that.
But your company does,
Yes, it's a very important thing these days.
thank you. So this is something that we could, Public Works could follow up with a report to council for data and information.
Yes, they could.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to, sorry. Alderwoman Notriano, okay.
Thank you, Chair. So just one question for you. Did you receive an email, a letter, something like that, explaining from the city, explaining why you did not receive this contract?
No. I don't know for sure if the office did. I hadn't heard about it.
Okay. So from your perspective, you couldn't tell me why you didn't get this contract?
No, there was a lot of questions that the city asked us, but I don't believe that was one of them.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Okay, any other questions? Alderman Gregory?
Yes, thank you. You said that somebody recommended Green Track. I don't want you to say who it is, but are you saying that somebody from the outside recommended that company?
I was here last week, and all night long, you guys sat over here and you guys sat over here. It was great. You debated back and forth, tried to solve problems for people.
Yeah, I'm just asking you a question. Are you feeling like somebody gave Green Track the leg up off a recommendation or something? Is that what I'm just trying to be clear.
That's what I heard was supposed to happen, and that's what it was wrote that it was supposed to happen. But
Sir, sorry, it's just the person at the.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I'll say this. I don't know any of you. I don't know you. I don't know them. I don't know Green Track. I don't have no relationship with any of you. I'm purely on fairness. Who's going to get us some local workforce and who's going to put some minorities on that job. So we'll review what Public Works sends us. Corporation Council, I don't know what our ability is to change this bid or to, whatever. But,
Well, it's on debate next week, so it can be amended. The bid is not awarded until the city council votes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer.
thank you very much.
Alderman Donnelly. I know, Alderman Donnelly, you had a question for Corporation Council?
Yeah, I do, and it's kind of built upon what Alderman Gregory just said, is, these are very serious issues that have been brought forward. I'm glad that, you showed up, Mr. Schaefer, and to talk about some of these things. Saving money is always important. All the other, who we hire, how we hire, following our rules are extremely important with minority hiring and women hiring, and things we take very seriously. I'd just like you, Corporation Counsel, to take a hard look at everything that was presented to, whether it was the committee or Public Works or whomever, and follow up with us on making sure that we're dotting the i's, crossing the T's, and not doing anything wrong. Because quite frankly, I'd like to save the money and do more work. But if there's reasons that are valid, then we are in the position we're in. So,
I'll meet with them, thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, any other discussion on this issue?
Got a letter. Can you?
Can
Yeah,
I
Alderman Williams.
Can I get anything that will tell me who this committee is? Doesn't have to be right now, but as long as I get it.
So, in Corporation Counsel, I don't know if you heard the request.
I did not, I apologize.
Request of the names who make up the committee, if you can get that to me.
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Okay, if there's no more discussion, seeing none, the motion is for debate. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Ready, Chairman?
Yes.
General City Business, 2025-489, an ordinance authorizing a decrease in the number of Class K liquor licenses by one due to the sale of the business by Three Amigos Properties LLC, Hilton Garden Inn, Springfield, located at 3100 South Dirksen Parkway.
move for consent.
Second.
Motion is second for consent. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-490 is an ordinance authorizing the increase in the number of Class K liquor licenses by one for JJI Springfield LLC, DBA Hilton Gardens Inn, Springfield, located at 3100 South Dirksen Parkway.
Move to consent.
Second.
Motion is second for consent. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-491, an ordinance approving the appointment of Pamela Cohen to the Board of Managers of the Oak Ridge Cemetery.
Move for debate.
Second.
Motion is second for debate.
Madam Chair, I think
Is she here today?
Ms. Cohen may be here.
Is Ms. Cohen here today? Oh, yes, thank you for coming. Please come up and introduce yourself. And I hope, just so you understand, if someone hasn't explained this to you, we put all appointments on debate, partially just it gives you a chance to introduce yourself and have some time with the council. So please go right ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm Pamela Cohen, and to give you a little background of myself, why I would be interested in being on the board of Oak Ridge, I come from a family of morticians. My grandfather and my uncle had a mortuary for close to 50 years. My background is in that business also. I understand how families need a good place to go and just reflect. And how often they do it, that's up to them. But they need a place that they can just reflect and have good memories. I myself have had the opportunity to do that quite often here at Oak Ridge, and it means a great deal to me. I think there are possibly some ideas that we could do to make it more beautiful than it is. Not all year round, I'm not saying that, but I think we could perhaps get the community more involved in that and hopefully not cost too much. I have been the president of Temple Israel for 2 years, and we work closely with Greg, and we have areas out there that the Jewish community has areas that we help maintain. And they mean a great deal to us, and I know that we're very honored and privileged to have that at Oak Ridge. And I just think having Lincoln there is kind of special. And I think we need to honor that more and perhaps get the city not more involved, but more involved. So if you have any questions?
Thank you very much. Does anyone have a question?
Thank you.
Not at this
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you very much for your commitment to serve the community.
Thank
We
you.
look forward to seeing you next week, too. Thank you. Okay, the motion is for debate. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-492 is an ordinance approving the reappointment of Susan J. Rimpfer for the Springfield Urban Forestry Commission.
For debate.
Second.
Motion is second for debate. I'm sorry, is Susan here? No? Okay. So is there any discussion at this time? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-493 is an ordinance approving the appointment of Mary Francis to the Springfield Urban Forestry Commission.
Move for debate.
Second.
Motion is second for debate, and I do see Mary Frances is here. Thank you very
Hi.
much.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Francis. I have an extensive background in environmental sciences, educational and professional background, and I've been a strong advocate for trees for a long time now. And I know the commission has been through some turmoil recently. It needs to be rebuilt, and I'm committed to helping the administration do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? I would just like to say thank you very much. I think this is a really important commission for our city and how we're expanding and including more green space in the community. So thank you very much for your commitment to help build this. We need this, and we look forward to, again, voting on you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a nice night. Chair or clerk? Oh, we have the motion is for debate. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-494 is an ordinance approving the appointment of Jacob Blair to the Springfield Convention and Visitors Advisory Board.
Move for debate.
Motion and a second for debate. All those in favor?
Aye.
Or, sorry, any discussion? Thank you for coming up.
Oh, of course. Hello, everybody. I'm Jacob. I'm the general manager of White Oaks Mall. Moved here to Springfield about 2 years ago, taking over in April. Goal for joining the convention here is I truly believe there's a lot of great stories here in Springfield, and a lot of great experiences worth repeating. And I think that there is something that is wonderful and can be great partnership there for us to work in tandem with and really put Springfield on that pedestal that it deserves to be on. And all that there. If anyone has anything for me, I'd love to help elaborate or anything of that nature.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions tonight?
Thank you.
Seeing, I'd just like to thank you again for your
Thank you.
willingness to serve the city.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in tonight to speak. Again, the motion is for debate.
Bucket.
They got
Their bucket.
Yeah.
We gotta get that fixed.
All those in favor of debate? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-495, an ordinance authorizing a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $125,000 for the unbudgeted, unappropriated state asset forfeiture fund balance from the Springfield Police Department.
Motion for consent.
Second.
Sorry, I have a motion. Do I have a second for consent?
Second.
Okay, motion is second for consent. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-496, an ordinance authorizing acceptance and execution of a grant HS-26-0197 from the Springfield Department of Transportation in the amount of $56,630 for the Sustained Traffic Enforcement Program STEP for the use of in FY26 for the Springfield Police Department.
Move for consent.
Second.
Motion is second for consent. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-497, an ordinance authorizing acceptance of a proposal under the RFP CS 23-13 and execution of an agreement with ERC Real Estate for purchase of city-owned property consisting of one vacant lot located at 126 North Lincoln Avenue in the amount of $2,000 for the Office of Budget Management.
I'll just real quickly correct that it's North Glenwood.
I'm sorry?
You said Lincoln, it's Glenwood. I had my readers on this time, so.
Motion for debate.
Motion for debate. Is there a second? Motion is second for debate. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Chair.
Alderman Gregory?
So this particular parcel, of course, we want to sell it. I just had some questions about This is coming out of our, I guess vacant lot. It says one vacant lot located at 126 North Glenwood. So is this for the home or is this for the actual lot that's on the lot? Because in the description, I was reading that they are going to rehab this and put about $30,000 in it, which is always great. Am I correct? Am I off on it? Yep. It says
If
rental
anyone from
property
this-
investment. Yes, I intend to fix the property and rent it out. So my question is that houses that sit on vacant lots like this that we're gonna sell for $2,000, where's the list that, where is that at?
Come on up to the mic and we'll get it clarified for you.
So lots that have houses on them that we would be interested in selling that are savable, where do we list those at?
Well, there's a vacant lot list, and that's always out there. And then if there's additional property that's for sale, it typically goes out as a request for proposal.
Okay.
So I don't know about this one. I'll have to look if there's a house on it or not.
Well, in our description, she's gonna fix it up, so there's probably a house. It's a nice sized house, it's boarded up and stuff, I looked it up. No big deal, I just think that information, is important, and I know this is in your ward, Alderman Purchase, and, you know, I'd love to have a conversation with you about it, about
Yeah,
the
why
house.
you putting it on debate?
Yeah, I'm putting it on, okay, I'm putting it on debate because there's you know, in the parcel, in this information, see, I'm reading, when somebody lied to me and stuff, so I get to reading and I get to doing this. So, one of the properties, that we asking for other things, so she has a house at 1721 South 14th. I'm gonna go by and look at it, but the last time we looked at it, it had a tarp on the roof. So, you know, I just think it's bad policy, bad decisions for the city to sell somebody another house that they're gonna invest in, and they got a house on the east side that they don't care, and they live out west in a $500,000 house. So we gotta stop this, you know, I'm all for it, you know, but we gotta make sure all of our properties that we own, are maintained before we just keep going on and on. So that was my point of it. I look forward to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Alderman. Don't leave yet, sorry. Alderwoman Purchase?
I just wanted to say hi, because I had to ask Chuck, I said, who is this? We talking,
Yeah.
so, what's your name again?
Jim Peters?
Okay, hi, Jim, thank you. So, yeah, I'll probably be reaching out to you too.
Yes. and
Thank you.
Anything you need.
Thank you very much. Okay. Right now it is.
Madam
Down while
Chairman,
you can.
that was changed to debate.
Sorry, yes, it's on debate. So are we still good with debate, Alderman?
Yes.
Seeing that, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-498 is an ordinance authorizing acceptance of a proposal under RFP CS 26-19 and execution of an agreement with the Abundant Faith Church for the purchase of city-owned property consisting of 2 parcels in the amount of $7,600 for the Office of Budget Management.
Move for debate.
Second.
Debate.
Motion and a second for debate. Do we have any discussion, Alderman?
No.
No discussion? All right, the motion is for debate. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-499 is an ordinance accepting a proposal under RFP CS 19-29 and execution of an agreement with Springfield Urban League, Marcus Johnson, for the purchase of city-owned property consisting of 8 parcels in the amount of $4,000 for the Office of Budget Management.
Motion for debate.
We have a second? Motion is second for debate. Is there any discussion,
No.
Alderman Gregory? No? Okay, motion's for debate. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-500 is an ordinance authorizing acceptance of a proposal under RFP CS 25-54 and execution of an agreement with Caroline Musk for the purchase of city-owned property consisting of 1 vacant lot located at 1010 East Edwards Street in the amount of $22,555 for the Office of Budget Management.
Motion for consent, and the reason,
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you.
motion for consent. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Alderman Gregory?
yes, I am, okay with this being on consent. As you see in the description, clearly it's painted clearly what they're gonna do with the lot. And I didn't find any other properties in my ward that they have that needs to be fixed. So, that's an old building, vacated by the business from the rail, and they have a great business plan, that will go there, that will help lift 11th Street. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alderman. Any other discussion or questions?
No, ma'am.
Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-501 is an ordinance authorizing execution of a tentative four-year agreement with the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFSCME, Local 3417, for employees with the Office of Public Works from June 1, 2025 through May 31, 2029.
Consent.
Second.
Motion is second for consent. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
2025-502 is an ordinance approving execution of a contract with Intech Innovations for communication upgrades, Phase 1, for the City Council chambers in the amount not to exceed $95,293.99 for the Office of Communications.
Consent.
Second.
Motion is second for consent. Alderwoman Notriano?
Thank you, Chair. This, if it is what I think it is very exciting to me. There was a lot of sort of like technical stuff in the documents, the backup documents. So I kind of wanted somebody familiar with it to give me like the once over, like how is this going to improve our lives?
Good luck.
Yeah.
Evening. So I'm Ben Brocking with Intech.
Okay.
Been working on this system since 2020 when I was first introduced to it. So I've got some familiarity with it. Hopefully I can answer any questions that you might have.
Yeah, so what upgrades are we looking at?
So right now, the main controller for the audio system also acts as the physical controller for, essentially all of the functions right now pertaining to the audio system and parts of the broadcast system. We will be replacing everything on the back end in terms of the audio, and control will be adding a physical touch panel controller as well as giving additional software control, upgrading some cabling infrastructure to allow for higher resolutions for broadcast.
Okay.
And a couple other just small things. We're tweaking better wireless microphones,
Nice.
things along those lines.
So better broadcast, but not necessarily anything we'll see in here.
Well, we are redoing the video distribution system, adding control for the display, so it's going to be more than just, presence of video signal off of the
Gotcha.
PC that we have located over there.
And I thought that I saw something that might give us a capability to have people call in onto the system and
That-
participate.
That functionality will be retained.
Oh, I see. So it's not an upgrade, it's just like,
Well, it's a completely different system, updated technology, but the current system has, with the previous administration, we actually installed the capability of VoIP into
Okay.
this, so we could utilize these microphones to have an actual phone call.
okay, great, nice. Well, that sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
That does sound wonderful. Thank you, Alderwoman. Alderman Carlson?
And maybe I'll let Chuck speak first, but yeah, I think we're all excited about this. Are you the right person to talk about when the mics cut out or the computers, or is that not your shop?
Not so much with the computers, microphones, yes.
Okay. Because I think we've heard over the years, as far as, we have such old antiquated equipment, we're trying to bring in newer equipment, and maybe it doesn't sort of jive. So with that being said, is it sort of going to, be all new equipment to get us up to speed?
It's not 100% new equipment. We're kind of taking a phased approach just due to, is what we were asked for, kind of budgetary constraints. There was an RFP last year or 2 years ago that was put out. I believe we were the only respondent for that, and unfortunately, we never heard where that went. But so instead, we're kind of going piecemeal and providing upgrades in a more kind of staged fashion. That's going to cause the least amount of disruption.
All right, thank you, Chair.
Well, thank you. Clerk Redpath?
Yes, to answer Alderwoman Notriano's question, we are in the process of an RFP for upgrade to the software as part of the program.
Oh.
That's going to improve. There's several different areas that we're going to upgrade, and I'm going to address that at my budget hearing. But we went out for the RFP first, so I can bring that to you. I put money in my budget for that program. If approved, I'll keep it in there. If not, I'll pull it back out. So I'll try to be able to explain all that to you at the budget hearings.
Wonderful, thanks.
Thank
Any
you.
other
Thank you,
questions?
Clerk. Alderman Donelan?
Thank you, Chair. Not to belabor the conversation, but one of the frustrations that I've had is that during COVID, when none of us could be physically here present, we seemed to have no problem at all conducting meetings through, and I used the platform that we use, utilized Zoom, and it worked. There were times when we had some of us in the chamber and some of us not, and it worked. And then all of a sudden now, none of that works. The technology doesn't work, whether it's with Teams or what have you. Will this be a part of this process? So because unfortunately, we have council members at time that have jobs or they're out of town for city business or what have you, that they're able to participate remotely, but when you're on a speakerphone over in the corner, it's darn hard to hear them and it's darn hard to participate.
So I think a lot of that had more to do with training and operation of the system, because what the system has currently, it does have a VoIP instance incorporated into it, so the whole system can operate as a giant speakerphone rather than using like a third-party device with a microphone put up to it. That's something that was installed with the previous administration.
If you're our present contractor, and it sounds like you presently have a relationship with the city, could you close that loop for us? We would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, unfortunately, there has been some shifting in personnel as far as the training that we provided. So some of the training, those people are no longer, part of or employed by the city, or they've moved on to other positions. But we can definitely close that loop. That's not a problem.
Appreciate it.
I'm just going to add.
I was going to say, just to add the video conferencing side of things, yes, we'll actually be able to participate in a, client-based video conferencing, so Zoom, Teams, whatever client is installed on the computer up here. There is actually a computer downstairs that we were initially using to run on Zoom back when COVID first started. That was actually my first experience with the system. So coming in, and I've since moved companies, so the other company is no longer kind of supporting that. But that is something that it'll be a little bit more intuitive and be able to provide, like visuals up here, because I know that was part of the other iteration where the video of the remote participants was not able to be seen up here.
Thank you. That's it, Chair.
Thank you very much. I would just like to reiterate my colleague's comments. This is critically important for us, and I speak as someone who has, I do have to travel a fair amount for my job, and I try to schedule that away from Tuesday nights, but that's not always possible. It is critically important that we have a better way of communicating or participating remotely, because it does create limits for those of us who, infrequently may need to be out of office. So thank you very much. We're looking forward to this. What is the expected timeline of this installation?
There are still some hardware constraints on shipping and things like that. Ideally, we would probably be looking sometime in February or March in terms of installation.
So you're waiting for some stuff to get to.
Yes, like,
parts.
Obviously we can't order anything, and because of the shifting of the availability of hardware, we can't really promise anything until we,
Sure.
are able to actually place the order. Our vendors won't provide us dates.
But reasonably within a few months, not.
Yes.
6 to 10.
Correct.
Thank you. And I think we have, if you'd like to come up and speak to that.
I wanted to mention a couple other points in addition to what Ben had said. This is going to be a phased approach. I have started looking, obviously, at next year's budget, and I am budgeting for more updates, more upgrades to it. That was one of my things coming into this role. I saw the frustration, heard the frustrations. It's something that is a main priority of mine to work on, and work with the clerk's office as well to see and make sure we have everything kind of working all with each other. So this is just the first kind of approach to it. Ideally, if in the next couple of rounds, maybe we do it all at one time or anything like that, it is up for further discussion. But this will be the first of many fixes. It's fixing some of the things that have been needing the upgrade. So yeah, more to come with that. If you guys have any questions for me, I'd be more than willing to answer them, or if you have questions for Ben.
I will just please point out that I think it's really critically important that we have a wide variety of people who are trained in how to use this, because that is one of the more frustrating things I've heard, that we could have been doing this for a while.
Yes,
Communication. So thank you. I look forward to that, making sure, lots of people are trained in how to use this and can support each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a group effort when it comes to council chambers, just because there's a lot of different moving parts to it. So that is a goal of mine, is to have open communication with everybody, to know what the capabilities are in here, kind of what we're working with, and what upgrades do need to happen.
Wonderful, thank you. And Alderman Williams.
Yeah, so will one of the phases be where I can participate from my jet? When I'm flying, like Aaron tried one time.
Oh, yeah, I think I was on the Amtrak for one of those meetings.
Oh,
It
well,
was not
my
very
jet.
fancy.
No? I mean, I really want to answer it.
That's gonna be more dependent on the technology that's on the jet.
That's on the jet. Oh, okay. Thank you.
So Alderman Williams, please make sure your jet is tricked out as much as possible. Thank you. Do we have any other questions on this ordinance? No? Seeing none, the motion on the floor is for consent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you very much. Okay. That's the end of our regular agenda. Next up is unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business to come before this committee tonight?
I got new
Alderman
business.
Williams?
Yes, corporate counsel, is this, I'm trying to figure out, since some things happened last week, I've been getting this question about 6 votes. Do we have a special ordinance or something we passed in the past that requires 6 votes, or where's that coming from?
Our consent decree gives the voting requirements for ordinances and resolutions. So that, to be a concurrence of the majority.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderwoman Purchase,
I'm in new
and then
business.
I'm assuming Alderman Williams, you don't have a second one, do you?
No, well, I was just gonna say, so, concurrence of the majority of the quorum.
Chair, I have no audio for Alderman Williams.
You got to pull us right.
For the quorum.
Oh, there you are.
Would it be based on the quorum, the majority? When we say majority, are we counting with the mayor or without the mayor?
It's the city council, so it's a majority of the 11.
The attending council, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderwoman Purchase.
Mine's is new business.
Oh, okay, well, we're not done with, is there anyone else with unfinished business?
Roy.
You're trying to beat Alderman Williams, and I respect that, but now we will go to new business. We'll start with Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Well, first, I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, have some cheer. Gobble, gobble. And then also following that, we have our 2025 annual tree lighting ceremony this upcoming Saturday. And my favorite part is coming up with Santa to do the countdown. And I've seen a couple of my colleagues there over the past few years. So I hope to see you all. It's open to the public. It's downtown, and it starts around 4, but we connect the lights when it gets just about dark, and that'll be around 5:20-ish. So please come out and join us and bring your family. And there's a host of different organizations that'll be performing. So it'll be great to see everyone downtown, and praying for good weather.
I think I will tell you, in my opinion, having some snow for lighting a Christmas tree is good weather.
Oh.
I'll be as unpopular in that
In
as I
my
like it.
5 or 6 years I've been here, we have not had snow, not one time.
We'll see what happens this weekend.
So
Thank
don't
you,
speak
Alderwoman.
too
Looking
soon.
forward to downtown this Christmas season. Thank you very much. Alderman Gregory.
Just our city as a whole, we've been in a crunch, and, there was some scares with SNAP funding, things of that nature. So everybody had, really ramped up their efforts throughout the city, whether it's the food bank or 1 in a Million or Molina Healthcare. The response in this city from organizations, whether it was way back in COVID, it's amazing. And when hard times come, to our city, which they'll still come, it's refreshing to see people just come together to get people fed and, do what we got to do to just make sure people in need are done. And, it was a good weekend. I wasn't able to make it to the food banks, but it was packed. We've seen thousands of boxes, of food given out to people who are standing in line for an hour. So that shows the need, and this community from the east to the west, to the north to the south, there's something, a giveaway in every part of the city, free Thanksgiving meals all over the city, and that's really what community is about, is answering the need of call and answering the call in the time of need, and I'm just happy for that, and we got to give our community some shout outs because we've been through some tough times, and we really haven't missed a beat, since COVID. People been fed, and we got some things to clean up for sure. But as far as making sure people are fed, we do a good job with that. Thank you.
Thank you. And Alderman, if I can add to that, I'd like to also add my gratitude to the people of this community that stock and monitor and repair our micro pantries. We have an extensive network in the city, and those are people doing really, really wonderful work with zero barriers to someone to get. So thank you for bringing that, Alderman.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Notriano.
Thank you, Chair. So I received notification today that the city, and I other than licensing cab companies, I don't really know what control we have over this issue. But maybe this is a PSA to Lyft and Uber drivers in the city. It appears that at odd hours, there's a severe lack of automobiles for hire, whether that be taxis, Ubers, or Lyft. So I don't know if, probably no one knows off the top of their head who's here, whether we have any current licenses or what have you. Do you know?
I can, we don't license Lyft or Ubers. We do have cab licenses.
Okay, so we have some companies that are active.
Yes, but I'm not sure on the hours. I can try to get you that information.
Okay. And yeah. So I guess PSA, if you're an Uber or Lyft driver, turn your app on.
I believe one of the cab companies recently just closed shop, so we have had a reduction in that sort of traditional form of transportation.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate because I don't know. We're a city of people from other places, and so if you're arriving by train or plane or what have you, you need those sort of services in the city. And I know our buses don't always operate and don't operate after a certain time. So maybe just an issue to flag for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Alderwoman Purchase.
Yes, I had received a text message and saw the Facebook message. It was a student coming in, and it was really, really late for an interview and didn't have any transportation from the airport. So I do think that's something for us to consider, and also maybe even look into licensing Uber when we have those weird hours late at night if our taxi services can't provide it. That's and I'm not for sure. I know this is not the city with SMTD, but probably the bus routes don't go out that late. But I knew that was something that I would ask you, and didn't think to do it just now. Thank you.
Thank you. I think probably then a good conversation to raise with the airport too, about making sure that there are,
Yeah, speaking with the airport, that's a good idea, Alderwoman Conley, because I think it was closing at a certain time and they was stuck like basically outside, and it was just grateful that the couple that was there said they would come back if they could not fit into that vehicle, instead of leaving that person there by themselves. Yeah. So yeah, definitely something to look into.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Do we have any other new business before the council right now? Nope, seeing none. So time for a citizens' request to address the committee. Clerk?
Aaron Cahill.
If you could bring your comments up here. Huh? I was waiting for you to bring your comments up to the table, up to the mic so we can hear you.
Mayor, alders, people of Springfield. I come before you tonight, a resident of Springfield that feels let down by at least half the horseshoe. According to the city's own website for the Department of Economic Development, the city breaks down as such. 42% of residents make under $50,000 a year. 25% of residents make between $50,000 and $100,000 a year. 25% of residents make between $100,000 and $200,000 a year. And finally, 9% of our population makes over $200,000 a year. 9%. That's it. 36% of our population are renters, while 64% own our own homes. 23% of the structures in our city are multifamily dwellings, meaning they're things like apartment buildings, apartment structures. And 74% are single-family dwellings, such as houses. This info is based on a population of 112,327 people. For those of you that are not aware, I have a 19-year-old son, 20-year-old son, in Hickox Apartments. I just did an interview with Illinois Times regarding this. He moved in October of last year. They've been through, since October of last year, 4 separate management companies. 4 of them. One of them was there for literally a month before they brought in a new one. The new one had a manager that, quite honestly, horribly unprofessional. Had a lot of pretty rude things to say to me. So, of course, I fed him back. Point is, we brought up this registry situation. And while some people didn't feel that it was necessary, it obviously is necessary. There is no local ownership to this property. They're out in California, hiding behind an LLC, Hickox Collections LLC. That LLC is owned by, you guessed it, another LLC. That LLC, owned by a third LLC, wouldn't you freaking believe it? That LLC doesn't even have an owner of record. There is no owner of record for the third LLC. You're chasing your tail, trying to get in touch with ghosts regarding these properties where our citizens live. And it's not getting crap accomplished. So, we got folks that make decisions that affect the 99 percentile of this city, but they're making decisions based on 9% of the people in this city. Terrified that the realtors are going to come after them. The realtors aren't the ones that you got to be worried about. The Illinois Realtor Association ain't the one you got to be worried about. It's the people who are going to come and replace you that you got to be worried about, because they coming. If you up for re-election, they coming for you. I promise you that. So, we had an individual come in last week, spoke about their rental property. I've not cruised by that rental property. I don't know anything about it. I just know an address, and I've looked at it on Google Maps. That gentleman doesn't even live in Springfield. He lives in Rochester in a $550,000 house, by the way. I bet you he ain't got issues with his house. I'm not saying he's got issues with his apartments, but I bet you he ain't got issues with his house. We would have had the vote had somebody not given bad information out last time. A vote to let your citizens vote is never a conflict of interest. It's not. You're not making money by your citizens voting in
Thank you,
favor of
Mr.
or opposed
Cahill.
to something.
Thank you. Alderman Gregory?
Yes, real quickly, Dave, talk to me about this building on 4th Street. We talked about it before. I thought we had it.
It's in
Hold on, hold on.
administrative court
Sorry,
currently.
I asked
that
for-
was a question for Director.
I asked for Mr. Fuchs. I asked for Mr. Fuchs. Yes, sir, please. And you know, this, I thought we had that one about squared away. They've
Now,
done
you're
some.
talking about the Hickox apartment there
On the west side of the
on the
street.
west side,
Yeah,
or
not the
the
east side.
apartments on the?
Not
apartments
the
on-
east side. I'm gonna talk about them next.
On the west side?
Yes, west
On the-
side, sir.
On the west side.
Do we got that?
They have had a number of issues with boilers, with hot water, with infestations and whatnot. We have inspected them any number of times, and they have corrected the immediate issues, but the building is in pretty rough shape.
Okay, all right. I hate to hear that. Okay, you know, so this building on the east side of 4th Street, and these are all about the governance management. This is really bothers me. But, you know, I have corresponded and talked with the new owners. It sounds like they're gonna try to sell it and get it back in, a livable situation. We do got a Skywatch camera over there. We're trying to help it so it doesn't get destroyed. They have boarded up the backs of those
Garages,
carports.
yes, they did
So
that
that
last
should
week.
help. You know, so these two buildings house hundreds of people, and if they both go down, I know the Highcox building, you know, we sent all staff there, and it was on the verge of being condemned, and then I had some people reach out to me like, oh, please don't condemn it. So, you know, just get it fixed and things of that nature. And I know that the previous owner was sick and under the weather, and, you know, yeah, okay. All right, keep an eye on those two for me. I mean, it's in a bad spot. You know, the mansion view over there needs a little work, and, you know, for that area to look like that, man, and it's not our fault, but, you know, we just gotta tighten up and make those owners tighten up on those buildings. I mean, they're huge. These single houses, we can deal with it. It's a lot, but we can deal with them. But these big buildings like Old Town, I mean, it puts us in a tight spot. We got to go spend other money. It's supposed to be for unhoused people just to move them. And you know, I fear that that's going to happen a lot more here if we don't tighten up on these owners. So I appreciate you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alderman. Any other questions, Clerk?
Bradley Russell.
All right, I start off with the definition of corrupt. Having or showing a willingness to act dishonestly in return for money or personal gain. Kind of seems like there's a little bit of corruption around this horseshoe here, that y'all do dishonest things for power or for money or for whatever. How I know there's more than one of you aldermen that own property around Springfield, yet one of the aldermen can't vote because she owns property? That doesn't make any sense to me. And then corporate counsel says, well, you know, I talk to people individually. I can't tell you what I've said to each individual. Well, that's because you're telling people different things. One person gets told one thing, the other person gets told something else. How is that not corruption? How is that not you trying to do something for power and money? It is. I mean, without the registry, people like Misty's husband doesn't have to be on there, doesn't have to pay nothing. But I'm telling you right now, those Hickox apartments, I lived there. No heat in the winter, none. They have a gas heater that's been there since 1920. And let me guess, or let me tell you, it does not work. I was on the 3rd floor, and I had to buy space heaters for every room. Like, that's insane that y'all, for that man to come up here and say that he inspected it, no. I guarantee you, if he did, he'd have saw it correctly. I digress. But the other thing is there's so many properties around Springfield, old town apartments, all the mess you had to go through.
Sir, please
And-
address your comments to the chair. Thank you.
Well, okay.
Please do. I mean, it's okay.
I mean, I'm going to say it how I like to see it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, to sit over here and preach to Sean about, you know, all this stuff when there are some of you that are trying to make Springfield better. And there are other ones that are trying to make their backyard better. You know what I'm saying? So for me to call out Jennifer, who's trying to make Springfield better, or Misty, who's just trying to make herself better. You know what I'm saying? Like, how am I supposed to not call out people? You know what I'm saying? Like that. One of the things, I'm a girl dad. I've had girls. So whenever I see girls getting bullied, it just makes me want to jump to the screen on YouTube and smack some of the 10s and 9s and 7s. Is that better?
As long as you're talking to me.
Some of the 10s, 9s, and 7s, and, you know, they bully 6. I don't like it. I really don't. And it really makes it hard to come up here and not smack the crap out of some of y'all. I mean, just plain and simple. Jennifer's trying to make stuff, excuse me. 6 is trying to make things better, and 10 wants to rock back in his chair and talk mess to her. How is this helping Springfield? Y'all are here to make Springfield better, not... I mean, it's not just about you and 8, because you and 8 also has to worry about people in 2 and people in 3, because all of us make up Springfield. Like, can't we work together? Why does it have to be all you guys working for the mayor and all these guys working for Springfield? I mean, does making the mayor happy get you something better, 9? I don't get it. I think y'all need to wake up and find out what's your legacy. When you leave this place, when you leave your seat, what's your legacy? What is it you're going to leave behind? Because right now all I see is bullies. Hope y'all do better.
Ken Pesha.
Really? And how you walk away before you just call out another name? Yeah, I know, it's just next cattle and...
Go away.
Sir.
You know, there was a social media platform called Vine. It went offline in 2017. One of my favorite Vines was a really stupid joke. It said, "What's 9 plus 10?" And the kid goes, 21. And the guy goes, "You stupid." 5 to 4, with one person abstaining, would be 9. Not 10. Numbers don't really mean a lot here, but I'm going to talk about some numbers. Viola Fletcher died yesterday. She was the oldest living survivor of the Tulsa Massacre. She's 111 years old. She saw things that most of you only read about in books. Lived a reality some of you will never touch. And I think when we think about that time frame, we should consider within our own city. Our race riot. 1908, right? Been a long time. All those people are dead, aren't they? But the legacy of white supremacy in this city, it's alive and well. We watched it last week. Do you know what happens when you have to find technicalities to win? When you have to flip-flop on whether it's Robert's rules or case law that you're drawing from, depending on what's more convenient? That's white supremacy. You either support it, you find reasons to allow it, or you create the conditions for it to foster. And if you think that you're not, if you think to yourself that I'm the kind of person that fights against that, but you watch what happened last week and you smile, you don't even have the decency when you're cheating the system to look ashamed of your behavior. You smiled at the other side, knowing that what you guys were doing was a technicality, that you had relied on bad advice given to an alderwoman to remove her vote, a black alderwoman, as a matter of fact. System of white supremacy. And if you guys can't connect those dots, I mean, at your age, old dog, new tricks sounds true, right? Because it kind of sounds like you guys like white supremacy. You enjoy all those white landlords showing up here. It's the first time I've ever even seen their faces, but I bet it's not the first time some of you have. At your fundraisers, at your get-togethers, at your parties, when you get $85,000 from a realtor pack. Are we really supposed to believe you're not bought and sold? Look at me when I talk to you. You know who I'm talking to.
Ken.
Don't act like you're immune to that or smile like you don't get it. You know exactly who I'm referring to. Every single person that voted against that ordinance last week took away the voice of the community. And if you don't think that you did, you're lying to yourself. You represent your ward, not my city. If you represented my city, it wouldn't take a state representative to get the Sangamon Towers over there, or Sangamon, it is the towers, right? Thank you. The Sangamon Towers looked at. Bed bugs, urination, defecation. That's what's in that building. That's what's in your city. And somebody came here in a wheelchair not long ago and broke down in tears about it. What'd you guys do? You went home. You went to sleep. You didn't care. And you'll tell me that you do. But the conditions continue to come up. And I heard empty promises about programs you guys are going to come up with. Where are they? Because people are still suffering right now from that registry you sweethearted right out the door to please a bunch of overpaid, wealthy white people who marched in here and gave you your orders. And what'd you do? You did exactly what you were told. Because you know who funds your coffers. You know who runs your campaign. Ain't those poor people you can turn your back on. Ain't those crappy apartments you'd never live in. I'll be honest, you guys embarrassed us last week. You embarrassed my city, you embarrassed this council, and you embarrassed every single person on it with that behavior. It was absolutely disgusting what you guys pulled right out of your rectum. And the fact that you had a mayor who an hour later added a vote, but you guys didn't have the decency to allow a sitting alderwoman hers, that's white supremacy. And if you don't know it, go look it up, go learn about it, go find out more, because you clearly don't understand it. And I'm sick of coming to this council and hearing people lie to my face and do the same thing over and over again. Where's your abacus when those guys show up? Talking about raising people's rents for a $20 inspection fee and a $5 additional apartment? Those are threats from the ruling class to the working class.
Mr. Pasha.
And I'm tired of the class warfare that happens right here being substantiated by the very people in these chambers.
Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Appalling what you do to this city. I'm tired of coming here and acting like you guys.
Caleb
Mr.
McGuire.
Pasha, your time is done. We'll see you next week. Okay? Thank you. Excuse me. Excuse me. We give 5 minutes. Let's please respect the next person's time. Excuse me.
Mr. Morrison, when he
We're done. Mr. Pasha, you're done or you'll be removed. I'm asking for some respect. I'm the chair. Hey, if you can't handle it, then you can go ahead and leave. I'm the chair. Yes,
Caleb
and
McGuire.
we're not gonna have a debate back and forth with the chambers, okay? Please sign up, please do speak, and please know that we're sitting here and listening to you. The next person to speak, please,
Caleb
clerk.
McGuire.
Thank you. Thank you, Caleb. Please go ahead. Wait, yeah, make sure you've got your 5 minutes, okay. Go ahead. We got you.
All right. All right. Last week was pretty close to the definition of a circus. Which one of you is in charge of knowing how these meetings are supposed to go? Which one of you is supposed to make sure it doesn't get derailed? Because I'm pretty sure at least one of you is supposed to know how to begin the voting process, proceed with the voting process, close the voting process, and restart the voting process if there was a mistake. Not if we didn't get the result that we wanted, but if there was a mistake. I have seen high schoolers run better meetings than I have seen these meetings. I have run better meetings in this exact same format. I don't know if you guys have ever heard Skills USA. I was the vice president for the state. This is insane how certain corporation counsel doesn't understand when a mistake is being made and doesn't call it out right when it's being made. That is your job. Okay. I thought this was a body of government and somebody is here supposed to know the policies and procedures. From what I've seen over my very brief experience, whoever's supposed to know, does not know what they're supposed to do. Also, it is very suspicious that so many of you voted against the idea of letting citizens decide whether or not we should have a landlord registry. Very, very, very suspicious. And since I cannot address the alderperson I want to address directly today, my following statements will fall under a hit dog hollers. Listen closely. There is an alderman here that claims to have the most apartment complexes and the least amount of complaints. In a variety of these complexes, there are outdated appliances within units, stairs that are one step from falling apart that lead to where people live, and an area called 7 Crimes that was so graciously bestowed upon us by our police officers that my wonderful alderman loves so much, allegedly. This alderperson also claims to care for the people in the ward that live there. However, I don't think I've ever seen him in my ward, not on my street at the very least. And that is proof that you do not care. You care for the people that are paying for you to be in that seat right there that continue to get you on the ballot. If you cared, you'd show up to 7 Crimes every now and then. You'd find out why it's not 7 Crimes. It's mostly college students and young children. So I don't know why the police think that it's okay to call where normal people live 7 Crimes. And I don't know why you think that we like the police so much, because 7 Crimes at the very least is not like it. The ward I live in, Ward 7, is not perfect. We have complaints. However, when you lean back in your seat and look like you're about to fall asleep, it's pretty obvious that you don't care for our complaints. You're not going to listen to them, let alone the rest of Springfield. You fixed the sound barrier wall thing. That's great. What about the overgrown sidewalks? What about the areas that have houses but don't have any sidewalks at all? What about the lack of benches near the many bus stops that children and college students and elderly people have to sit at? What about the apartment buildings that have bits and pieces falling off of them as we speak? Either stop speaking on behalf of your entire ward or start representing your entire ward. Since I have a little bit of extra time, I would still like to bring up again the lack of options for communication for the deaf community. I understand that we have the hearing loops, and I love that. That's great. We have captions on the YouTube videos. That's great. My main concern is how would a deaf person come up here and voice their complaints? Do we have an interpreter for them, or would they have to go out of their way to hire their own interpreter? I understand the request I'm making before. We already had. I wasn't aware of that. Thank you, guys. But they should be able to come up here and speak as well, because I'm pretty sure minimal of you guys are fluent in sign language. It's not a shot. I'm not fluent. And I really hope that the ordinance, including in-tech innovations, will help with that. It sounds like they're improving the communications here, and I know there's a lot of phases. I really hope that that includes the deaf community, because they have concerns. They just feel isolated and like they are not welcome here, kind of like a lot of us feel. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Veronica Glass. Veronica Glass. Tara Standish.
Good evening. My name is Tiara Standage, and I'm here as a community member, a harm reduction advocate, and someone who has watched many families in Springfield fall through the cracks because our housing system refuses to take responsibility for the harm that it causes. I want us to understand that a landlord registry is not just paperwork. It is harm reduction. Harm reduction doesn't apply to just drug use. Harm reduction is the practice of reducing preventable harm whenever people are being placed at risk. And right now in Springfield, the lack of accountability in our rental housing system is creating harm every single day. Excuse me. A landlord registry is harm reduction because it identifies who is responsible for the condition of the homes people are living in. Right now, families are renting from landlords they cannot locate who hide behind LLCs, P.O. boxes, and out-of-state addresses. When the heat goes out, when mold spreads, when electrical systems are unsafe, there is no one to contact and no system that forces action. That's not an inconvenience, that is harm. A landlord registry is harm reduction because housing is public health. When kids are breathing in black mold, when elders can't safely climb broken stairs, when single mothers are dealing with constant pests, leaks, and violence from predatory landlords, those conditions directly increase ER visits, asthma, depression, unsafe coping mechanisms, and homelessness. We can't talk about reducing gun violence, substance use, or trauma without talking about the environment that people are forced to survive in. A landlord registry is harm reduction because it intervenes before the crisis, instead of waiting for a building to burn down, for a child to suffer from lead poisoning, for a tenant to become homeless. A registry gives the ability to track problem landlords, enforce repairs, and prevent harm early on. Prevention is cheaper, safer, and more humane than emergency response for the aldermen that were worried about what it would cost the city. And let's be honest, the same communities who are already over-policed and underprotected are the ones paying the price for the city's inaction. Black families, poor families, unhoused folks, single parents, and people who are already carrying the harm of systemic racism and economic violence. When we fail to regulate landlords, we enforce these inequities. We hold tenants accountable for everything and landlords accountable for nothing. That is white supremacy in action, a system where certain people profit while others are disposable. A landlord registry is harm reduction because it shifts the burden off the most vulnerable and onto those in power to prevent harm. It says if you profit from housing people, you have a responsibility to house them safely. No more slum lords hiding in the shadows. No more freaky-deaky landlords exchanging sex for rent receipts. No more trauma being overlooked. No more calling unsafe housing the cost of living in poverty. Springfield deserves a system where landlords are known, accountable, and responsible for the safety of the people who live under their roofs. That is harm reduction. That is equity, and that is the bare minimum that our community deserves. Thank you.
Brianna Roberts. Brianna Roberts. Jordan Shaw.
Good evening. Okay, so first things first, I just wanted to let everybody know that tomorrow we are having at Intricate Minds Warm Wheel Men's Day our second annual Friendsgiving potluck. It starts at 6 p.m. and anybody is able to come can come. We will be having just a potluck of food. It will be great. We want to get as many people fed, especially during this Thanksgiving time. All right, so now that you guys had just a little teeny tiny break, I'm going to also talk about last week's city council meeting. So I find it very unfortunate that apparently there are certain people who don't understand that 5 is more than 4, that is unfortunate, but I get it. Math is hard. It is. But I also understand that there are certain steps that need to be taken. You had to get at least to 6. And one of the alder persons did recuse themselves because they themselves was a landlord. And I understand that. I'm not going to state that that was unfair. However, it does seem like that the information that was put out to them was inaccurate, and then they could have voted, because there were other people who voted against the landlord registry who absolutely should have recused themselves. It doesn't seem fair to have one person who follows the rules to the best of their abilities and the best of understanding what those rules are, and then other people just either taking or leaving it. It doesn't seem right, and it doesn't seem fair. And I understand that not everything can be fair, but in that instance, it feels like a double standard. You're either going to have 4 or 5 people recusing themselves, and therefore a 6th vote would be absolutely impossible, or everyone would have been able to vote. And I also just want to state that I'm going to be perfectly honest. I can't remember exactly who said it, and I know we can't single people out. But I just want to let people know, don't ever use ChatGPT as a source. It is just a bad call. At the very least, you're admitting that you use ChatGPT just to look up a fact. Doesn't seem really smart. And also, it makes it seem like the people that you are supporting are also not smart, because they just expect you to go on a website, ask a question, and then just read whatever the AI generative support system is telling you to do. So I would just recommend, if you don't want to waste all that time, maybe hit Google, maybe hit a couple of links. It's not that hard. I promise you, it won't hurt. So, in conclusion, because I have a little bit more time, if you want to be forthright and not have just a bunch of people coming up here and yelling at you, either specifically or as a group, maybe be a little more transparent and honest. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to keep lying to people over and over again and keep making the assumption that the people who voted you into office are stupid and cannot follow simple policies, then you're not really going to be here for a long time. You keep calling people names, they're going to eventually vote you out. And it's probably best just to be honest. Thank you for your time.
Roy Walton.
I'm ready whenever y'all are.
Right ahead, sir.
As a certified harm reductionist, thanks to Intricate Minds, my issue with harm reduction is still the fact that the police behaviors have not been addressed. You have the police embezzling, kidnapping, improperly filing paperwork, fraudulent negligence. How do you arrest a person, take them to Sangamon County, they get assaulted, and then released with no record of the arrest, no charges filed, and no documentation saying that you were ever detained? That's unlawful restraint. That's criminal. How does people come and speak at city council and then the wards that they spoke about or the aldermen who spoke up on their behalf, their wards don't get police response? How does it take 2 hours to respond to a traffic accident? Why does a community service member have to stop while riding to pass out citations for illegally parked cars and direct traffic because the police didn't show up for over an hour, so long that the people actually moved their cars that was in the accident in order to let traffic through? Why do I see a public works truck cutting down trees and their people are secure, but you have a whole traffic accident and it's one officer out there doing it by itself to where a community service individual had to stop and help him? Why are the police soliciting funds for buildings that are not in operation? Because the IA building is not in operation on North 5th Street behind the lawyer's office, but they're still getting paid for the building being in operation. Why is it that an 80-year-old lady can be hit by a car and the police don't even do her paperwork properly? When you document a traffic scene or an accident, there's supposed to be a description of the accident. Which way did the car come from? Which way was the individual laying? Where were the bruises and the scars on this individual? I won't show this individual's name, nor will I say what ward it was in, but it was white supremacy because the ward it was in, the alderman did her best to speak up for the public as well as her ward. And as a result, she's being denied adequate response time. Like I said, I had a person call and say a white lady was being robbed behind County Market right here on Carpenter Street, and it took the police 7 minutes to dispatch 30 officers, but an 80-year-old lady get hit by a car, and it takes 2 hours for a response, and then the negligence is because you didn't even have the audacity to fill out the police report and show the scene of the crime. Incomplete, insufficient, negligent. I'm lost. Chief Bill comes, sits in here all the time, listens to all the complaints. How do you do olive branch with an individual and an alderman, and then when the individual comes back to city council, you shut down the follow-up? I'm lost. This is a tyranny of bullying, negligence, embezzlement, soliciting funds for operations that don't exist. I keep telling y'all, I'm tired. I come here, I show everybody the utmost respect. I speak on my issues and I stand down. I give everybody credit for their participation in the roles that they use to address the issues. But we tired, and it's about to get bad because we're going to stop targeting y'all and target the money. Since this is a corporation, we're going to find out what better businesses do and see how to get this money shut down. Maybe then y'all listen to us. Thank y'all for listening.
Embassy Egerts.
Sorry, just a minute, Clerk. Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Chief Bill, how often do we use our substation on North Grand?
I don't have that information off the top of my head.
Could you check into that for me? Because I know the situation that he's referring to, that happened within that area, and with the amount of time it took for us to get there, can we just see how often that area is being utilized? And I know sometimes it's high traffic accidents too, because I've been there and posted about people getting hit. They run through that light a lot.
Sure.
Can you check and see how often we're using that substation?
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem.
Can I say
Thank you, Alderman.
You said it was supposed to be a thing set up to let people know how to do like complaints and stuff like that. Is there any way y'all can give me that information?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Clerk?
Embassy Isaac. Embassy Isaac. That's it, Chairman.
That's it? Okay, is there any other business to come before the council? Seeing none, I'll motion to adjourn. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, everybody.